Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 unbelievable animals who saved people's lives. A lot of people love animals. It's mostly because they're cute, funny, and loyal to their owners. However, these animals go above and beyond and are amazingly brave. These are animals that risked their own lives to either save their owners or just a random person's life. So leave a like and subscribe, and comment I subscribed and I'll try to reply. Coming in at number 10, we have carbon monoxide cat. Cats are one of the most popular pets. They're often seen as soft, cute, and very lovable. They're also seen as sneaky, and let's be honest, they can sometimes seem like they don't really like their owners. But this story shows just how much love cats feel towards their owners. Winnie the cat was a house cat to the Kiesling family. In 2007, the mother Kathy Kiesling was woken up by Winnie. The cat was panicking and meowing loudly. When Kathy got up, she noticed her husband was unconscious, and she also felt very dizzy and ill. She suspected something was wrong with the house's pipelines and called 911. They soon found out the house was slowly being filled with carbon monoxide, which is poisonous. Fortunately, Kathy and her family got out okay. I know you're not supposed to give your cats catnip, but after saving your life, I kinda think they deserve it. Next up is diving whale. You probably think whales look pretty dangerous. Whales tend to look large and threatening, but can often be calm and non-aggressive. This story is an example of a whale who's not only not being aggressive, but is actually doing the opposite. In a competition in China, a diver called Yang Yong was attempting to see how long she could hold her breath underwater. Surely a holding your breath competition was a recipe for disaster. And this was, of course, in a pool full of beluga whales. After several minutes, Yang still hadn't surfaced, and people began to think something had gone wrong. Under the water, Yang was trying to swim up, but couldn't move her legs and began to sink. Somehow, Mila, the beluga whale, noticed she was panicking and began to help. The whale swam down and grabbed the diver by the leg. Mila then dragged Yang back up to the surface. It's safe to say this whale deserves to be treated like a hero. Next up is heroic gorilla. Everyone enjoys the zoo. It's a great place to see exotic and interesting animals. But sometimes accidents happen and the zoo can become dangerous. A situation much like this occurred at Brookfield Zoo. A 4-year-old boy had fallen 18 feet into a gorilla enclosure. The boy had broken his hand and had a few scratches, when suddenly the gorillas in the enclosure began to close in on him. This included a female gorilla called Binti. The 8-year-old gorilla Binti rushed over to the boy. She picked him up and took him to the exit of the enclosure so the zoo staff could get to him faster. It's suspected the zoo trained Binti to do this in case of an emergency, but even if this wasn't training, it's pretty lucky that Binti was there to save the boy from the other gorillas. Binti is still in Brookfield Zoo, so if you're in the area, be sure to go and say hi. Just try not to fall in. I think Binti's a little too old to be saving another person, but as she's such a hero, we're pretty sure she still could. Next up is sharks versus dolphins. Sharks are very scary creatures. They've been known to attack humans and are not the kind of animal you want to be face to face with. Unfortunately for lifeguard Rob House and his kids, they came seriously close to doing just that. While swimming in the New Zealand Ocean, Rob realized something strange. It appeared that dolphins were surrounding him and his family, and whenever they tried to swim away, the bigger dolphins corralled him back into the circle. However, the scariest thing was yet to come. As they were trapped in the circle of dolphins, Rob saw a giant 3-meter shark swim by. But as it began to swim towards the family, the shark was repelled by the ring of dolphins. It soon became clear the dolphins were attempting to save the family from the nearby shark. The shark soon gave up and left the dolphins alone. The dolphins then allowed the family to return to shore, and luckily Rob and his family were completely unharmed. Then again, as a lifeguard, shouldn't he have known better? Next up is diabetes rabbit. Most likely, you think of rabbits as fluffy and innocent, but chances are you wouldn't assume it's capable of saving a life. Well, if you think this, surprisingly, you'd be wrong. A man called Simon Seagal was sitting around watching some TV, when all of a sudden he fell into a coma. Simon was diabetic, and his low blood sugar levels on that day led to him passing out. The good thing is, his rabbit, Dory, was there. Dory climbed onto his chest and began moving him. This made Simon's wife notice he'd fell into a coma. His wife quickly called 911, and Simon was rushed to hospital. After medical attention, he was fine and returned home a few days later. Must be strange finding out your savior is actually a rabbit. This rabbit is so heroic as people would never assume that a rabbit could save a man's life. But lo and behold, this hero rabbit did just that. Next up is elephant tsunami. Thailand is a beautiful country. It's full of amazing animals and crazy weather phenomena. But in this story, these two features mix together. In 2004, 8-year-old Amber Owen was on vacation when her world was turned upside down. This was down to the 2004 Thailand tsunami, during which around 280,000 people passed away. And if it wasn't for the help of Ning Nong the elephant, Amber may have added to that number. Amber was riding Ning Nong the elephant across the coast as the tsunami began. Fortunately, the elephant saw signs of the tsunami and ran to safety. He then kept Amber behind him, so he was taking full force of the waves. He kept this up until the tsunami had ended, and amazingly Amber was fine. Ning Nong is a complete hero for protecting a little girl's life. And I doubt many people would risk their lives like that, let alone an elephant. And as you can see from these pictures, she's a beautiful woman who's now fully grown up, and still talks about the elephant to this day. I mean, it did save your life, you kind of owe it something. Next up is horse versus cow. Many people love horses and think of them as delicate and majestic. But what a lot of people don't know is that they are some of the strongest and most powerful animals as well. This is evidenced in the incredible story of Fiona Boyd. Fiona is a Scottish farmer who works with cows and horses among other animals. One day she was leading a calf into a shed, but this angered the calf's mother as they do not like people making contact with their babies. The mother cow then began to try and strike Fiona with her horns. While the cow was trampling Fiona, Kerry, a horse on the farm, began to intervene. Kerry put herself in between the cow and Fiona and began biting the cow. This pushed the cow far back enough for Fiona to get out of harm's way. Kerry the horse is seen as a savior to Fiona, and now you can see why. But I'm pretty sure things were frosty with that cow and Fiona after the incident. Next up is choking parrot. One of the most recognizable things about a parrot is their call, and the fact they can repeat things and squawk loudly. To most, this may seem annoying and angers some owners, but it could also save a life one day. One night, Hannah Kals was eating beside her parrot Willie with her babysitter in another room. She then suddenly began choking on her food. Willie the parrot then saw something was wrong and began to call out "Mom," screaming and flapping its wings. This attracted the attention of the babysitter, who walked in to see Hannah choking. She managed to stop Hannah's choking, and she was soon totally fine. All thanks to Willie the parrot. If you ask me, next time the parents may as well just hire Willie instead of the babysitter, as he seems pretty capable on his own. Okay, not to be harsh, but you know you're a bad babysitter when a parrot is saving the baby while you're in another room. Next up is dog saves baby. A lot of people say dogs are man's best friend, but this is clearly also true for babies. Timothy Newark, a 3-year-old boy, was in the backyard of his family home when, without his parents seeing, he managed to crawl through some fencing. The house backed onto a railroad, which Timothy then began to climb on. Max, the family dog, sensed something was wrong when he could no longer see Timothy. This is when he quite literally sprang into action. He began frantically jumping and yelping. This eventually attracted the attention of Timothy's father. His father looked outside and saw Timothy on the tracks. He rushed out to the tracks and carried Timothy back to the house. Who knows what might have happened if that heroic dog hadn't been there. Parents, take note, always make sure you know where your baby is, especially if you live near a railway. Remember, we don't all have hero dogs, so don't try and rely on that. Next up, we have bank robbery. Sometimes animals end up going a bit out of their depth while trying to do the right thing. This is one case where the animal not only went a bit too far, but then went a little further. One day in Chicago, 2 armed robbers attempted to steal money from a bank. One of the clients was George Weinstein, who had his dog Oscar with him. Oscar noticed something was wrong and began barking. The noise caused the people outside the bank to realize what was going on and call 911. Then, as the criminals continued to rob the bank, Oscar went a little further. The dog pounced on one of the robbers and tackled them to the ground as the other began to flee. One of the robbers got away, but the one Oscar the dog tackled was left lying on the ground until authorities came and arrested him. It is unfortunate that one robber got away, but what can you expect? He's only a dog. After that, I think someone deserves a dog treat. Who knows what could have happened, seeing as so many people pass away at the hands of armed robbers every single year in Chicago. Forget doggy treats, give this dog a key to the city. And that just about wraps up this video. Check out the poll in the top right corner and you can vote for the most heroic animal who saved the day. Personally, I think the bank robber dog was the best. I mean, come on, he reached new levels of hero. But I think it's pretty safe to say all of the animals on this list were absolutely amazing. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.